here already. How many people from your side? Okay, let's go. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to be with you all with this beautiful women across the world on the world and the top very powerful topic that we all know about. I always say the controversial topic. Why women against women? Are you all ready? I just love you all. You're so beautiful. On my page, I have the beautiful woman, Dr. Kotesha. She's a mother, she's a founder and CEO of Mother Helping Mothers. Thank you for joining us today. God bless you, sister.
For having me. Thank you, ladies, for this platform with y'all. Love y'all so much. I'm so happy to be on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also I have sister, Dr. Wanda Michaela. She is the founder and the CEO of We Are Survivor. She has been here with me many times. I know she's not new. Thank you so much for joining us. I love you, sister.
I love you too, and I can't wait to physically put a big bear hug around you.
Oh, I just love you. Thank you so much. I have this beautiful woman. She's my sister also. She's so beautiful. She's doing so much great things in UK. 1 minute, please. She's doing so much great things in UK. Miss Emilie Grace. She is the founder of That Woman, and I'm happy to have her here. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you so very much, Sister Deborah, and
That
thank you to the
woman,
Queens for joining.
That name woman, that is what she's the founder of That Name Woman movement. She's doing so great, and she's one of the nominee for DK Swami 2020. I'm so happy to have you here, sister.
Thank you so very much, Queen Deborah, and thanks to the other sisters for joining. It's a privilege to be on this platform today and talk about girls and
also,
women.
The great woman, my sister, also Edith. She's also from London, from UK. Thank you for being here with us. She has been with us. I remember 2018, she was with us in Nigeria for the conference. She left all the way from UK, land in Nigeria with us. Thank you so much for joining us again. I love you so much, sister, for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I always love coming to your shows and spread the words and learn new things.
Thank you. We're still waiting for one woman. She's supposed to be here, and we're still waiting for her. She will be here soon. But we can go on and kick on with this. I want us to talk about this topic, why women against women. But before we go, she's here. Thank you for joining us, sister. God bless you. I love you to be here. I know you love this topic.
I'm so sorry. My internet was having some trouble. I'm sorry for being late.
It's okay. She's Shed Begum from Pakistan. She's also doing so much great fighting for women across the world. And she's award winner also 2012. And also she has the DK Award as well. She has been doing so much great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Deborah, for making this effort and for bringing all of us together here. So thank you so much.
Wow. We are in this topic together. Why women against women? But before we go deeper, I want us to talk about ourselves. I will start from Dr. Kodesha. We all know that your job, you work with the women and girls, and also what are the different issues that maybe you find as difficult working with women? Do you see anything that is difficult working with them?
It's funny that you started with me because before everyone else got on, I told you I just had this conversation with a lady in Ohio, and I wanted to do a table talk or some type of discussion about why do we compete against one another. So for me, it's in the nonprofit sector, it's in the entrepreneur sector. And that's finding when God is connecting you to someone, he is connecting you for a reason. It's not for competition. And so I was saying earlier that I see it all the time, and it's actually heartbreaking to know that any of us can be so much further if we work together versus work against each other. God has given all of us ideas. He's given us all things that we should be accomplishing and doing. And I just say all the time, what more could we have done, or where could we be right now in our today's current society if the women learn to work more together? If we wasn't backbiting, I see it so much, even in the girls that join our house, the very first thing we stop is strife. We do not allow them to be backbiters with one another. When we had our house in Ohio, we saw so much unity by introducing the word strife and letting them know what that meant to do those things to one another. And so I just think that the more we have conversations about it, the more that we introduce this topic, the more that we can break the cycle before it hits our daughters and our granddaughters, because it actually starts with us. And the more we're doing it, the more they're going to do it. So I love that we're having a healthy conversation about why. But yes, it's in the workplace, it's in the church, it's in relationships and friendships. And most friendships are torn apart because one person moves simultaneously a lot faster than the other, and you start to see jealousy, competitional spirits kick in, and things of that nature. And so when we can get to a place where we're learning to collaborate and work together, that is what it's all about. Even for the shirt I wore today, you can't really see it, but it says, I want for my sister what I want for myself. And it's from a friend of mine in Cincinnati, and she do conferences around it. And so it's women in the world that want to see us all win together, that wants to collaborate and work together. But the majority rules that it's more working against each other. And so we want to be able to change that. And so, yes, working with women and girls, I see it all the time, but they understand coming to Coach Cowan, talking to me, we're not going to have it. It's not going to be backbiting. It's not going to be, you should be able to speak your mind and tell a person something without them feeling a threat. And so that's what we got to get to, working together with each other without a threat.
Well, thank you so much, sister. Before I continue with you, I would like to go with Sister Shed Begum from Pakistan. Thank you so much for having you here with me. And I know I saw your great work you have been doing in Pakistan, and you have been dealing with different women as well, international. And can you please tell about yourself, what you're doing with women, with our viewers?
Thank you so much once again, Deborah, for this amazing panel today. So yes, I'm Shad Begum and I am from Pakistan. I work in the northwest of Pakistan. My work is basically more focusing on women, and when people even ask me why women, because we say women, if we still see the development process, and if you see education, if you see employment, so you would see still women are behind because they were not involved, they were not engaged in these things. So that's why we are focusing on women. So I started my journey when I was a student. My father motivated me. And actually, the reason for my work is actually, again, the same, that in my village, in my hometown, even still, women are very much less in so many, like in public offices, in institutions, and in all walks of life. You see, women are very less when it comes to leadership roles. So you can imagine 2 decades before, like how was the situation could be there. My father motivated me, and I established the first women organization of the region. And since that, we are working for women's economic and political empowerment, because the issues are so much. Like, I cannot actually start speaking about the issues because then the entire program will be spent on the issues. My realization while working with women, one of the key area I found that was lack of women in politics, because that is the place where the decisions are made. That is the place where the resources are distributed. So when you don't have women on the table, it means you are lacking the real representation of women in such important place. And that's why she is still, not having proper facilities and enough insufficient facilities for education, for health, for employment, and all these things. So that's why our work is focusing on, first of all, economically empowering women, and then training her, and then motivating her, and giving her the exposure to join politics. And that's what we have been doing more like a focus. We do other things as well, but that is what actually we focus. And I even myself, just to motivate other women, twice I contested the local bodies elections just to motivate other women to join, because still this is a stigma in areas like where I'm working, that women are not that easy, because there are political bans, even like women voting and women contesting elections, there are still these issues. So this is the work we've been doing, but now the things are changing. The good thing, I'm happy for that, the things are changing. There are various reasons for it, but of course, one of the reasons is that while growing up and working in this sector, I realized that women need to support each other, and I'm happy and I'm lucky that I found so many women. They have been mentoring me, they have been supporting me, and today I am trying more that to invest more in women and girls, because the more we will invest in ourselves, the more we will grow our sisterhood. That's how we can actually then become more powerful. Yeah.
Well, since you've been working with women and partner with other women organizations, do you find it difficult working with women? Is there any issue that you feel like, okay, I can't work with women? Do you feel it's difficult working with women?
Yeah, I think with humans, I would say working, it depends, like, on
So not the people that you are working, like kind of, you are helping the same women that you are in the same category. You understand what I mean? They are doing something like what you're doing. Do you find it difficult working with them or partner with them?
Yeah,
Different aspect area of life.
Yeah, this is challenging. Like, like the women I'm engaging, like the communities, like the women from the communities I'm working with, or the women who are partnering with me doing the same work in the sector. Yeah. So, I like, this is challenging. I would say there are women who are not supportive, but I would say there are more women who are very much supportive. And I would say there is one reason, like not a reason actually, there is an understanding I have built. If I would talk about particularly like countries like Pakistan or South Asian, women actually find opportunities, very less opportunities, right? And they create their space in a very hard struggle, right? So then, of course, like sometimes this is not easy for every person, especially for women who has struggled a lot, and she has created some space for her. So there is some sense of insecurity that, sharing that space is maybe not easy for her. But I would say that we need to understand the context as well. Like this is so easy because, the reason we need to find solutions, like how we can understand the situation and then how we can move forward. So when we say sisterhood, that we need to complement each other, right? We need to support each other. And this should be from two sides, not from one side. So then by understanding that, now we all women, we do say the things that are changing. Women are becoming very positive because now they're confident, like they have good space, they have good, positions. So in Pakistan, in the beginning, yes, when I was in the beginning of my career, there were challenges for me. But now when I see, so the more women are understanding the dynamics and the issues, and they do understand this realization that women need to come together. And when they will be together, then they will actually resolve the issues better. That's why even recently the initiatives that I launched, that is Women Voices for Change. That is a big platform in Pakistan. I'm bringing women from all walks of life, and we have such a tremendous like support that we share the issues and we very quickly respond to things together. So I think we need to invest in that, and like that stigma is changing now. This attitude of women is changing now, much changed now until now.
Wow. Thank you so much, sister. I really love that. I'm going to take it to Sister Sharina. She's the CEO of Sister. Thank you for joining us. I really love you so much. Thank you. What do you about this topic, women against women? What do you think? When you hear that kind of word, what does it sound to you?
Well, originally, I would say going back to when God placed it on my heart, my sister's keep a place of refuge a few years ago. It came out of a place of, I would say, competition within the ministry or the church world. And because I saw so much of it and I was fighting so hard just to be able to share my talents or thinking that that was the godly thing or the right thing to do, it seemed like the more I tried to be myself, the more I was fought against from women, from the very same people that I thought were going to help me or would think that that would be a great idea, was for women to support each other. But it came out to be one of my worst nightmares, I would say. Being that we are brought into a world, how I would say, I know this isn't a religious platform, a world of sin that comes with the territory, so it takes us as individuals or us as women to be able to have that right mentality of saying, you know what, if we come together in a positive manner, we can create purpose out of all the pain, out of all the frustration. Everybody has a story. But for some reason, what I've come to realize, I've heard many talks like this many times before. But before you can partner with other organizations or partner with other women, you have to take an inventory of yourself first. And I believe the reason why a lot of women don't get along, or a lot of reason why things don't get accomplished, because of the things that are still rooted, and until you get to a place of
the pain within, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, now I can sit back and look at it, and a lot of times you think that you arrive in life and you can go out and empower everybody else, but until you take a look and sit back in your own seat and look back at yourself, look at your life, then when I'm not going to say 100% because nobody's 100%, but there's still has to be room to be an evaluation to say this is the area that I can do better in. So to look at somebody and empower somebody, you got to first empower yourself. So I realized that, it was a mission, I had a goal, I wanted to help the world, I wanted to save the world, but yet I did not come to a place where I had to be real with myself that I was also stinky. So when it's time to collaborate with other people, how they say hurt people hurt other people, that's usually what happens with women, because we're holding so many things within us. We're holding so much inside of us. We have so many goals, we have so many aspirations, but we never take the time to really dig down and help ourselves before we go and help somebody else. So now when you do collaborate with somebody, you won't be intimidated by someone else. You won't be envious. And what gets me with a lot of women, you'll look at somebody and be like, oh, she's envious. Oh, she wants what I have. Sometimes that woman really doesn't. She has her own aspirations. She has her own goals. So when we learn how to grow up and get out of the girl stages of life, because we're still stuck in areas of immaturity, that's when I think that things can flourish and things can work together. But because women are so prideful, and we don't really like to own up to that kind of stuff because we're just prideful women. I don't know if it's the queen in us. And if you think about a queen, she's very pious. You have to get to a place where you can humble yourself and realize and recognize those things within you first. Then I think collaboration can take place with others.
Wow. Thank you so much, sister. That's huge.
You're welcome.
Very huge. That is very huge. I'm going to take it to Sister Grace from London. She also has been working with women. What do you think when you hear that word, women against women? What does that mean to you? What does it ring to your mind?
Yeah, thank you so very much, Deborah, for this conversation. As I said before, it's something we really need to be talking about. And I would say this is beyond important. Yeah, growing up, we see that girls are always against girls, but it's not like it happens within every circle. But I totally agree with the other panelists. If you know who you are, you will not be against another. Because it starts with originality. Authentic about who you really are, you know your purpose, you own your power, that is your power. And if you know that this is me and I am original, and no matter what another person does, it can never be me, it can never take my credit. I will not be against another. It's happening, girls are always against each other. The good thing is we have identified that there is something wrong with that and it needs correction or fixing. And we do that today. I also want to say, if you know your purpose, if you're original, you will complement another. You will not compete with them. And we get to that place of knowing that every voice has an audience. Get to the place of minding our own businesses on our own lane and thinking that sisterhood, knowing that sisterhood is everything. We're not talking about girls being against each other. We are going to do it. We are going to fix it because I think everybody on this platform influence to their community. And when you start with self, when you fix it for you, you'll be able to lift up another sister. About fixing, finding who you are, working within you, identify your purpose, living. And the starting point is other copy.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much.
About finding you, living that purpose, and influencing those around you positively.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to take it to Dr. Wanda McKinley. I know Dr. Wanda and Edith, they're both working in the kind of dealing with some special way with human being, like kind of therapies, all those stuff. But I just want to ask from both of them. I'll start with Dr. Wanda. What do you think that caused this, the argument, the nasty between women and women together?
I'm listening to all the panelists, and I always come back to our behavior is learned. As children, we mimic what we see. I was just in earlier, my 16-month-old grandbaby and my 7-year-old great nephew is jumping on the couch. So guess what she wants to do? She wants to jump on the couch. So when we have these women that get on the phone, we're catty. Girls, like we always have to talk, we always have to gossip. And so when you have a young lady that you're raising that watches her mom on the phone with another woman talking about another woman, then she goes to school. And with her school friends, they get in a little circle and they begin to talk about another little girl. Why? Because it's learned behavior. We are in charge of molding our future.
Wow. I love that. Wow.
Future presidents, we've learned it doesn't make a difference. So what we have to do is be mindful of what we do in our homes, because our little girls are learning what their mothers are teaching them. When you have someone that goes to the club all the time, guess what? That little girl's gonna wear something that she wanna go to the club. Why? Because her mom did it. A boy that watches his father cut the grass, guess what? When he grows up, he's gonna cut the grass. Why? Because he learned it from watching his father. So we cannot just point fingers at the women that are fighting against the women, because guess what? Their mothers, their aunts, they learned it from somewhere. So we've got to take a look at ourselves and how are we doing things, saying things, caring ourselves around our children, around our little girls. Wow. So if your little girl sees her mom helping, going to feed the homeless, going to do this, working at a shelter, then guess what? That little girl's going to want to do that too. Wow. Because her mommy did it. So humans do what we see. It is everything we do is a learned behavior. Everything.
I mean, you mean that
Queen Deborah, may I add something as well?
Okay.
To what Wanda was saying?
Yeah.
I said Queen Deborah.
I love that.
used to call her Queen. You know, I don't care what anybody ever says about me. I know my heart. I've always loved to see people win. And it goes back to a person's spirit, you know, and who they truly are, goes back to whatever all the other women were saying on the panel. But when I look back at a text today, when Dr. Cortisha texted me and she was like, could you help me? And at the time I was doing my hair and I couldn't stop immediately to come help her because it was something that she wanted to do. And God placed in my spirit, if only people can push past the pain, they will push into their purpose and they'll push themselves out of poverty. But then I started thinking, like, when she was talking with Wanda, I was like, okay, God, but the problem that I see with women, we work so hard for our accomplishments. And the scariest thing is when partnering with other women, a lot of African-American women, they like to take credit for the work that you put in. So it makes it harder for you to want to partner with other people. And I'm not talking about my friend, Dr. Cortisha, I'm talking in women in general, because we as women hear something and be like, oh, she's talking about me, because it may sound similar to different things in different people's lives. But I'm just talking in general as a whole. Like, I know that I became afraid. Like, I don't know if I want to work with this person or do that, because we work hard. The tears, the suffering, the things that people talk about. It's like when you finally get ready to arrive, you know, a lot of people do take credit for the time that you put in. Wow. So a lot of women choose to work by themselves because, truth be told, when you were crying at night, when you didn't have the finances, nobody really wasn't there. You might have had 1 or 2 girlfriends that came back and encouraged you. You might have had 1, maybe 2, that really called and supported you. But then when you get ready to get on your platform, now you get the phone calls. Now everybody wants to be your friend. Now it's, oh, hey, girl, people you haven't heard from for years. So naturally, you start shutting down from people, females, because y'all can say what y'all want, but y'all know my mouth is very blunt. We can be some scandalous and trifling women, and we love to cut each other with our mouths. Wow. So when it comes to working with other women, it can be hard, and we can try, but until we learn how to control this, our prideful nature, and to give a person their credit. If she worked for it, she worked for it. You're going to get there too. But if we can get there faster, if we work together, put our talents together. But it's just, for some reason, I don't know what it is. Women end up bumping heads. It goes right back to nature. Wow. That's just.
Do you think that's I mean, there's a pain of kind of that the pain that is there that need to be healed when somebody hurts you as a friend that you're supposed to have partner with or work together with somebody, and one of the friends hurt you, and there's a fear of working with other person, or what do you think?
Yes, I would say it's a fear, because nobody likes to get hurt. And when you've been hurt multiple times from people, from helping people, I cannot count, because I don't go on social media and be like, oh, I helped this person, I did that for this person. But when you get tired of the abuse of helping people over and over and over, and it seems like you keep getting burnt, that's when your defense mechanism comes. I'll be like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not helping nobody no more, because you keep getting hurt and nobody wants to be hurt. So I think when you get to a place where you're just comfortable, that's why now I can honestly go back and say, before I thought I was in a position to help women, but I wasn't. I didn't know what happiness was. Now today, I can sit back and look at my year, and I wouldn't mind helping somebody, because now I'm content. Now I am happy. I truly am happy. So maybe that stuff won't affect me like it did, but I just could only speak from my perspective. But people get tired of hurting. I know I did.
I understand. Uh, I'm going to take this to Edith. She's one of the women that she's helping women in able to get through different kind of uh, and things that they've been through. Please, I would like you to say something about this. How can we be healed from the past of hurting from other women? Or what do you think that is the foundation of women against women?
I think it's absolutely going back to the self-esteem, the willpower, and the confidence. So when we were like little girls, and then we didn't get the appreciation, we didn't get the enough time with us, you know, and then actually the help or the appreciation from parents or from sisters or brothers or friends, and then we felt like not enough, you know, and we felt like we are less than others, you know. That's when actually everything started. And with this low self-esteem, with low confidence, as we growing up, we see that the other girl is looking better, the other girl, because even I could say from my experience, my mom, she had a way of actually she thought she's doing great job by being criticizing, you know. She thought, but her criticizing way is going to actually building me up, you know, positively. And that's why is but it caused like less appreciation. She was like comparing me to my friend, or comparing me to someone, like, look, she has a nicer hair, why don't you wear your hair like she, you know, like this kind of things. And then you as Wanda said, we getting it from our parents. Yes, we getting it into our subconscious, like we need to compare each other, we need to because that was their way of doing things, you know. And then it's like is all going into your subconscious, the way of comparing all the time. And then is the traumas what you get is going into your unconscious mind, and is all staying there, and you attracting over and over again the same situations until you can't resolve these issues in you. As Cherina said, that you have it in you, you need to clear first the traumas from yourself to actually be able to be kind and giving with all the other ladies. And then also, so it's also about the ego as well. So we're not always connecting to our higher self and acting from intuition. Sometimes we reacting to our environments from ego, and that's when we get these subconscious things coming in, you know, like, okay, I'm competing or I'm comparing, and sometimes it's actually building you up, sometimes it's encouraging you when you look at another woman and it's influencing you actually. Yeah, it's like influencing you to be better. That's the good way of looking at it, you know, when you compare. But when you compete, that's a different thing. Like that's when you don't help. Yeah, when you don't support. Yeah, that's the bad part. And then when we're talking about business, in business, so woman has feminine and masculine part as well as the man as well. And then when women get into business, we're getting into an environment where men also present. And in that environment, our masculine comes out. And then in that competition, we feel like we can't be feminine anymore because we need to be strong, masculine. And then we take that power in us, and then that's how we want to operate in like a career, you know, in a career ladder when we are in a corporate business or corporate company. And then we just want to be we just want to move up, and then we don't even looking at like woman or men or man, or we just move up, and then we compete against everyone. But the thing is, when you ask like if we enjoy working with other women, or if we wants to work with other women, I think we need to understand that man and woman is actually has their different brain way of working on their things or on their businesses. So the man can be more focused because their brain is like set it up different compartments, like boxes, and then they can focus on one thing and then be good at on that one thing and achieve like higher levels. And then the woman is actually always buzzing like a wire nest in their head, and then always dealing with many things. So how can I say, it's like the energy
That's-
is struggled, like, yeah, so because the woman is unable to focus as much as men, it's a bit more difficult for them to achieve higher levels, you know, on business or in other bit. But because of course we need to focus on being a wife, a woman, you know, a mother. So we have more on our plates, and that's why we created like this, to be always buzzing, you know, always having our eyes on everything, and that's not allowing us to focus on one thing. So when we work with women, might we feel like the woman we can't trust or is not enough into the business, not helping enough, because of course they have many things on their plates. And then when you work with a man, the man is more able to focus and then not dealing with other things.
Do you think
That's
that
also
it's good to work with a man than women, or what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Do you think that it's good to work with man than woman?
No, I mean, I think both has, of course, positive and negative things. But what I'm saying is that that's the different how their brain operates. Like
Okay.
that's what we also need to look at. Like why it's sometimes difficult with women, because they reach higher levels slower, and that's why they got frustrated, you know, and that's when they start, you know, she's not helping, or she's against me, and that's why, because they got frustrated because they're not getting so fast, you know, ahead. Because, and then, you know, it's everybody is responsible for their own life, you know. We are responsible to actually schedule our things, to be more conscious what we're doing, how we're doing, more conscious about how we treat our environment, the people around us, you know. And then as Sharina also said, that we need to be conscious what we say, how to speak to other women around us. Yeah, we just need to be kind and giving, you know. And yeah, the other thing is the trust. Yeah, I mean, I think you attract what you are. So if you are trustworthy and then you are honest, then you probably attract that back to you from other people as well. That's what I believe.
Wow, thank you so much. I love that. I love that. But we all know that there's a problem. And how can we figure it out? How can we fix it? Ms. Shed Begum, what do you think?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
I saw that there's issue between women. So how can we fix it?
Okay, so before coming to you, this question, what was discussed just by the other panelists, and these thoughts came to my mind.
Okay.
You know, there is one thing.
Okay.
Whenever we are raising any, you know, women rights or women issues on any platform, so most of the time men would say, you know, there are many women against women. Then how you are saying, you know, like we need to support you. First of all, you women need to support each other. So, but I see, like what other panelists said, this is not something which is happening on a huge level, like in a large number. Yes, this is happening. We do acknowledge this, but not at the scale of like when people are starting, you know, using this against you. So we women also need to understand that this is something like, you know, a stereotype in most cases, like men use against us, that women are not united. So we need to be mindful of that as well. And there is another dynamic. You know, in our country, for example, we say one example, like, you know, if there is a girl born in the family, so even women, like, you know, the mother-in-law and other women, they do not appreciate and they even discourage, and they do not celebrate actually. But if there is a boy, the women celebrate this. So then people say, why women are not celebrating girls? Like, why they are celebrating boys? So we also need to understand the patriarchy, and we need to understand the power dynamics, you know. You know, women in the families who support men, and they actually most of the time discourage women and do not support women, these women get recognition and support from men then. And we have a society where everyone is always seeking for the power, you know, to be with the power, who is, you know, holding the power. So we need to understand these dynamics as well, that if there are women, which is now changing, like for example, initially, when I came to the development sector, my father is the person who is behind my, you know, all success. Like he motivated me. He never asked me to go to the kitchen and cook food for the family. He would always ask me about to read books and to go with him, and, you know, and to do things with him, like out in the society with him, like going to his meetings, going to, when even he is meeting his friends, I would go with him. But my mother actually, she would used to tell me, you need to learn cooking, you need to learn all the domestic things, because you will get married, and then you will, if you will not do, though my mother is a very educated woman. So now today, I just think that my mother, actually, she learned this because her mother, she told these things. And the society is actually telling women, like, who is a good woman, how you need to know what women need to do. So most of the time, like most of the men, they do, unconsciously they adopt such attitudes of behaviors. That's even happening to women. So this is not something that we need to actually, start blaming one particular like class, like women in this case, that, and we should use this like a huge thing, like, women against women. That's why this is happening to you. So you cannot ask for equality because you women, first of all, need to come together. So we need to just understand, because when we will understand, then how we will learn how to tackle this thing. So how we are facing, I would say we are facing it now like a way, like, for example, if you even just point out, just see few cases of Me Too, which started happening after Me Too, you would see women even criticizing women. And then even like, for example, recently in our country, in the month of March, like this is the second year we have been celebrating a big walks, where large of women came out and they used such slogans. And then there were women actually, questioning women. And so nobody was talking what men were saying, but everyone was talking about what women were saying against women.
Wow.
And those women were few, men were in the majority. But in the media and everywhere, there were these 2-3 women. And men, they just put all the energy in highlighting those women who were against women. So we need to understand these politics, these dynamics as well, that these things are happening, but how we're coping up, we are trying to build more sisterhood. Like, what just Shirina just said, that a friend from USA, that first of all you need to invest on yourself. Of course, if I would be in a position to help other, then I'll do that. If I am not in a position to help anyone else because I am myself not having that confidence, or not having that support, like you need resources, even because time is a big resource. Sometimes you don't even have time to invest on, because what Dr. Edith said, that women are already much more burdened. Like we have, if I am a working woman, I need to be taking care of my children, I need to be taking care of my house and everything. So we need to, so understanding all these dynamics, that we need to invest on ourselves, and then on other women. We need to support, and that's how we will grow. And this is now happening. Like, for example, in Pakistan, I would say now there are many alliances women are building. I myself, I am building women alliances, which is initially in Pakistan, but now gradually I'm bringing this to a global level. And the idea behind that is to support women, to highlight women, to feature women. Because we say, all the time I tell people, we need to celebrate each other. We need to celebrate. This is not like, for example, highlighting someone else's work is actually, like just like reducing my own strength. And in the social media, I would say, yes, again, this is like, for example, there are women, even like this, sometimes they go after a woman so badly, like for a longer time, affecting her physical health, her mental health, like, like bullying her on things, whatever, for example. So these things are happening, but we need to invest more on the sisterhood, on the positive aspects, and there are ways we can do it. And I also believe in energy. We need to stay positive. We need to be like on that side, like to support women, even if that is possible, not by investing so much, just giving some time, listening, even listening to each other is, in this era, is a big support right now. So these are the few things I would say how we can build these things. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What do you think, Sister Emmy from London?
Yeah, actually, it's true that women cut down on other women a lot. And yes, this is because a lot of women have experienced emotional wounding in their relationships. And we can't deny that fact, and we need to fix the dynamics. So to me, it starts from you gaining wisdom, because wisdom alone to get wisdom is the starting point of solving a problem. Wisdom that you need to be spiritually grounded, and if you are spiritually grounded, then you will be able to understand that destinies are always or more often birthed out in uncomfortable zones. When you do that, you realize the things, the energy you need around you. It starts by you choosing your circle, because we know there's this common slogan that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you
who you are.
Those you allow in your circle can break you or make you. It starts with self. You have to decide what you want around you, because you can only attract who you are. Like, you're going to keep it. So yeah, of course, we agree women are cutting down on each other, but it's not the same with every person. Why we are trying to fix it. That's why we are trying to change the dynamics. So when you're able to choose your circle, they will know what you can allow because you have attracted them. And when you do that, you stop being insecure. One thing that causes women to be against each other is the insecurity. And when you're insecure, it stops you from attaining, it stops you from growing. And you can become secured when you stop judging your successes as what other people put out there on the social media as theirs. It goes back to originality, knowing who you are, knowing your purpose, knowing and living it. I think if you have those kind of people in your circle, then you'll not even experience the fighting each other. All of you will have the mindset, the growth mindset of being a cheerleader to whoever is doing the right thing. We lift up ourselves by lifting up others first. So by having that wisdom to choose the energy you want around you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dr. Kutesho, what do you think to that? How do we face it?
I was just about to say, for me, it's you as the person changing how you see every woman. So if you've been hurt by a woman in the past, in business, friendship, whatever it is, if you go into the next collaboration or the next connection, looking at that woman the same way as what the first woman just did to you, you automatically start competing, because you're taking in that hurt and you're taking in that pain from what the previous person has done to you. And then you're drawing that off on someone else. That is one of the major reasons that women compete against each other, and a collaboration is just not there, because we've been hurt in other situations, and then we're taking it into a new relationship. We're taking it into a new partnership. We're taking it into the next level of our destination. So in order for us to get to where we're supposed to be, one, you have to look at each individual as who they are. You can't go into a relationship. If I would have came to Georgia and looked at my sister Sharina and looked at my sister Tamika from some of the things that happened in Ohio and said, oh, I'm not opening these doors with women anymore because I've done that. And for most people that know me, I'm that one that's really going to try to problem solve whatever I can to help you get to your next level. It's always about seeing another woman win for me. That brings me joy. It brings me hope that we can actually accomplish so much more globally. And so if I would have took that same hurt and energy that I had in Ohio and brought it to Georgia, then I wouldn't be meeting and doing dynamic things with these women. If I brought that same hurt from Georgia or whatever it is that I'm feeling here, I wouldn't be in a global platform right now. So we have to understand that we are the cycle breakers. And the way we're breaking the cycle is by not looking at the next woman the same way we looked at the one we just left. And that's in all relationships. You know, for me, it's coaching in business. I've been doing that for a long time now, and I'm only just turned 40, but I've been around enough women, politics, you know, CFOs and CEOs and, you know, government influencers, and they are the same as us. But if I go into each councilwoman looking at what the other councilwoman may or may not done for me, or look at the other president of what she may or may not done for me, then I'm going to miss my mark on what God has sent me here to do. So I think that's number one, is being the cycle breaker for yourself, and bring the cycle breaker for when you're meeting another individual and another woman, and God is connecting you and collaborating you, that you don't take your brokenness from another relationship and bring it into this one, because that's where it really starts. We bleed off on each other. And so I would encourage most women and all women to, one, like Sharina said, define yourself first, look at yourself first, inject into yourself first, and then give out that love that you actually want to receive to these women, because that's the only way you're going to get to your next level. If you're going in already backbiting and already looking at them to hurt you, you're manifesting it. So if you don't go into the relationship looking for hurt, or looking to be backbited, or looking to be destroyed by the individual, it won't happen. It's actually what you see in the relationship that you manifest. So if you go in broken, it's going to end up broken. If you go in looking for success and asking for success, that's what's going to happen.
Well, thank you so much. I love that. Cycle breaker, I love that. Dr. Wanda, what do you think? How can we fix it?
Well, I'm listening to everybody, and what came to my mind, especially when Dr. Cowan brought up relationships, it made me think, why is it so easy for us to give man for hurting us than it is to forgive a woman for hurting us? Okay, so when a man hurts you, do you treat the next man the same way you would treat if a woman hurt you? Will you turn your back on that man? No. You're going to give the next man the benefit of the doubt. Okay. You're going to want to work towards pleasing that man and doing whatever that man asks of you, even though the last man hurt you. Okay. So then when you get a woman hurts a woman, wow. Every woman is that same one woman. Oh, I'm not forgive her. Please you or hurt you. But when it comes to women, we will not give another woman another chance to hurt us. And for me, my mother was the first woman, and actually the only woman that I allowed to hurt me. So I learned as a child not to trust women. So for me, when God began to work on me, before I knew it, I had all these women friends.
Wow.
And it wasn't something that I worked on. It wasn't something I asked for, because I never experienced a positive female relationship. Never. Now I have all these beautiful sisters, all these powerhouses, and I'm loving it, because I had never experienced it, because I never allowed it. But what I want women to also stop and think is, why do we as women allow men to bring us down, tear us down? We will continuously always give them a second chance.
Oh my God, I love
chance, but we will not give our sisters an opportunity to show us who they really are.
Wow.
That's when everyone's talking, that's what came to me.
Wow. That is so powerful. Wow. And it's very true.
This is going back to our DNA, you know. We need men to stay the, how can I say, fertility, you know, to stay the cradle of the earth, to bring new children to the earth. So that's probably is coded in our DNA to forgive to man and get into the next man, because we want to bring children to the earth. This is like a code in us, like a, you know, DNA code. And for women, yeah, we supposed to have women as a community, as a team, work together. That's how we are actually, our DNA is coded to be in a group of women and help each other. Like, you know, when we were in the old ages, you know, when we were cooking together and we had the household with many women together, that's what we should bring back actually. And that's how we should live, like support each other, having our team and have the group of women together and working, supporting each other.
Wow. Wow.
Can I say something after her? Can I, my great sister?
Yes.
Okay. I was listening to Wanda and the lady that just spoke. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Okay.
But to get this out of my spirit, because, and I'm gonna try to do this without crying, because I only learned this lesson this week. And when she began to speak about men, I truly believe in order for things to get better with the women, we have to go back to our roots. And God created Eve from Adam. So even though we will forgive a man very quickly before another woman, which is true, but we come from men at the end of the day. We are them. We are a piece of them. And it wasn't until recently when we go back, if we go back to our roots, and I learned, if you go back to your root and find your tribe, when you get around the right tribe, the people who are connected to your destiny, you should hear the sound of construction and building. And I went back to my African roots, or whatever country you're from, and I stopped looking at the way that we do things in America, and I look at from what the media shows us. In Africa, I've never been. My great sisters, but they work together. The men go out, how we were taught, they go out, they hunt. The women, but yet the women still stayed back, took care of their kids, took care of their homes, and they worked together. But everyone heard the sound. The men were on one accord trying to build a village. So this week I learned, and we have to be able to grow. It doesn't matter what age, it doesn't matter how old a woman may be. I think we fail because we feel like, oh, I'm 41. I can't take advice from my 23-year-old sister. I had to humble myself this week from my sister, who is my baby sister. And I'm so used to instructing them as being the oldest of 10. But when I realized she's a part of my village because she's very successful, and I'm talking about my sister Shirley's in real estate, she didn't forget about me when it was time for her to accelerate and meet kings. It's a difference between, we're so used to dealing with boys, but when you get to the level of dealing with kings, rich kings who have money, they talk differently, they act differently. So we as women, we start to see this. We're like looking at our kings because we're so used to seeing everybody suppressed in the village. When you start really seeing how to walk, how they talk, then you can come with another queen and be like, you know what, queen, hey, let's do our part. Then we start pushing them. And the more that I learned to listen to their conversation, when you listen to guys, they don't really bicker and fight. The ones who are out here really winning, they have a plan. They're ahead of the game. They're talking about futuristic stuff while we're sitting around talking about little catty stuff. So when we get to the maturity level, when we're really ready to grow, you, like my baby sister said, Sharina, clean up your social media page. I'm fine. This is me. I got other pages. But then she said, no, you worked too hard to destroy your brand off of you just doing some silly stuff. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? She's right. So I had to humble myself, take constructive criticism, and then realize I couldn't do it on my own. There are going to be times in your life where you may have to take advice for somebody who you might feel like, why is she telling me this? But it was for my good. So the more that I'm learning now, the more now it's safer to partner with other people because my mentality, my thought process is different. But it took me connecting with my tribe, because when I connected with the right tribe who thought the way that I thought, because I'm very gifted, I'm very talented, and you'll get miserable if you connect with people who aren't going in the same direction. So you got to be mindful, because you will connect, oh, this is a great opportunity, but the more you're connecting with this and that, and it's not your tribe, you keep pushing yourself behind, because this world is so big, you can't save the whole world. Get that out of our mind. But you can save yourself. You can try to save the whole world, but at the end of the day, we as individuals, we have to save ourselves. So that's my input that I wanted to put in. Find your tribe and be able and willing to grow. Then I think this thing called sisterhood can work. But it's going to take some kings, whether we like it or not. Wow.
I love this. I love this topic, and I love all the conservation as we explain.
Sister and Queen Deborah, can I add something to what
Okay, yeah.
Sharon was saying?
Mhm.
You know, said something about sisterhood work is everything. But honestly, we must all agree, first of all, that women are people. And the way some women have been broken in the past, if the only way they have is to get ahead and run like hell away from other women, trust me, they'll want to choose it because everybody wants to take care of their sanity, their peace of mind, spiritually, and in any other way possible they want to do. So the starting point is if women, first of all, agree that they are valuable, if a woman looks at themselves and say, I'm valued, will not be fighting each other. A woman who really understands and feels optimistic about themselves will really not fight another woman. Example is let's take the case of a cheating husband. More often, the woman who wants to go and fight the other woman and ignore the husband.
Yeah.
So it goes back to what Dr. Wanda said. Sometimes the men, they do things and we easily forget and continue with another man, but with a woman who want to fight, who fights that other sister. But when we decide to start building one another, you will sit back and judge the husband who cheated on you rather than going to fight that sister outside because you don't know what that husband or that partner told that sister. So we have to start choosing the right battles to fight and the right people to fight with. If we do that, then we'll not be against each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the input. I really like that. What do you think, Sister Shed Begum? Do you have anything in mind that you wanted to add to it?
I agree with all my sisters here. Yeah, there are actually the context is maybe different, but yes, all these, what we discussed, this is useful for all of us. And I learned like very amazing things today myself about this, like how what Dr. Wanda said that we so easily forget what men, did to us, but we never forget actually what women. Because just see the topic, like the topic we were discussing. It means if we are bringing this topic to the discussion, it means this is something, constantly told either by the society to made us think about it. So we do understand that we do all experience this thing, but not at the scale like the way this is discussed. But there is that one aspect which I always try to understand. And yes, we learn things, while growing up. Like I learned, like there is nothing harm like in learning in any age, and you can learn from anyone. Even my sons actually they're helping. I learn so many things from my sons. Like they're teaching me things every day.
Wow.
Though like because they're growing up, but they're teaching me everything. Even when it comes to feminism and things, my husband, like for example, in our society, men is told that you are the king, right? Women will cook for you, she will do everything, even if she's a working woman, but you just need to go to job and then come back and enjoy. But in my home things are very different. I'm not even cooking, like I'm not doing anything if the person who is like the helper is not at home. My husband would do things for me, like even, and my sons would do things for me. So then when there are some topics like about women we discuss in our house, sometimes my kids will tell me, this is like not a right perspective. You need to listen to us as well." And then I start listening to them and they come up with a good argument. So I'm not stubborn, like, we should not be like learning from others, like any age, any gender, from any sector. that is helping us back and to to learn these things. And the things are changing. Like for example, my son would tell me, he's studying in Islamabad, which is the capital city of my country. And he would tell me, the girls in my class, they are very dabang, like they don't have any patience if boy would say anything to these girls. And I tell him, this is happening now. And initially, like, there is a huge number still in the society and part where lots of things are happening to the girls and women, but they're still unable to speak about them because they're not feeling comfortable. They're not feeling safe to say things about these things. But we need to understand. And there is this one dynamic at the end, I will say, if we just go and find the data that how many women are the CEO right now of the company, right? And how many men
Wow.
are there going into these things. And then even if those are politics or those private companies, about men, nobody would say how he gained that power. But about women, there would be lots of stories that she done all this not by merit, not by her skill. She used some other ways. She used, other ways and these things. And then, so all these stigmas, and then these women are saying, okay, yes, we earned this space by having lots of bad names, mischaracterization and things. And then sometime, like for example, of course, like I do understand the insecurity involved somewhere with that thing, that not encouraging the young women or more women into some spaces. So, and that was much before because there were less women in so many sectors, right? Now it is decreasing because now women are going into each and every sector. So now, like women are not more insecure, like they say, okay, because if we will build the sisterhood, that we're not here to actually grab the opportunity from another woman, but we are here to maximize and create more opportunities. And that if we will give this message to even every woman, so I think that will create more space for the sisterhood, in more safe space for the sisterhood. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sister. I don't know if any one of us has anything to add to it. Actually, on my own side, I believe that women are, I call us like a recipe that's needed to be mixed together to make something. When you want to make a cake, of course, you need sugar, you need butter, you need all those ingredients to make the cake stand there. So we all have the uniqueness inside of us that every one of us need to join together to make something solid out there. So when we have that uniqueness inside of us, and we know that we need each of us together to work together, surely we're going to do something great, something amazing in the world. And again, I want women to understand that we are the foundation of everything, this world that we are in. Without women, this world cannot reach the population that where we are at today. We are very important. Without women, nothing will be done. Men can't stand on their own. So we have to find a space in our hearts where how can we forgive as much as we can. I that I'm standing in your presence have been hurt with different women, but I never put it in my face. I move on, I go forward. I was hurt. Even last month I was hurt, but I don't worry about it because it can't stop the vision that I have instead of me. Because why? There's a lot of women out there, like you all women that we're standing here together. You all have different things that you're doing, and I really want to work with you all. That is what I believe. That we all are very important and we have that uniqueness that I don't have, you have it. So when me and you are together, or when we all together are doing something, you put your input in all different things that we are doing together, something solid is going to come out. We are powerful when we work together. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you all so much, really.
Queen Deborah,
Darling.
can I say something in relation to what you just said?
Yeah.
You know, in my work with women and girls, I try to stay there as an accountability partner as they try to find themselves. Because what I do is I tell you, you need to work within you, use your potentials and your inner strength to be able to go through your challenges. Although, yes, I went through mine and I still struggle with some of the shadows, but that's what I do. I use a lot of emotional intelligence to do. And one thing I've realized is, apart from being a friend that listens, you need to be honest with those around you in order to stop the fact that women are against women, girls are against women. You have to be honest with them. It's not like take them off because until God gives you utterance, you don't need to correct somebody. But when you see that they're doing something wrong, it's important that you step in. You are very, very honest with them, because some women will say, I have learned the hard way.
Oh, wow.
And learning the hard way means you are using your situation to help another person. So, for example, I learned the hard way when I hit rock bottom, and I told myself, what I have experienced, I will never let another woman, another girl beside me experience what I have gone through. So now you look at another woman who is so broken out there, and I have survived it. Another sister can also pass through that. No, we need to be honest with one another. You need to be able to tell them on your face when you think they are not doing the right thing, and you need to be able to also get that feedback from them when you are not doing right, because being an accountability partner to somebody, it's also helping you to heal and grow.
Wow.
So that you try to stop people backbiting about you, because a dangerous friend is also a dangerous friend.
Yeah, I
So
think
be right with them, try to be honest with them. By that, healing yourself, and you are helping that person heal from their own struggles and challenges.
Wow.
Thank you.
yes, I do agree with that too, with healing, because a personal, for me, sisterhood has such a different meaning for me, because when I became obedient to God and began to share my story and be transparent for others, my blood sister, next month, it'll be 6 years, stopped talking to me.
Wow.
And her and I were inseparable.
Wow.
Okay, we're 2.5 years apart. I'm the oldest. So if I held on to that and not allowed women to come into my circle, imagine I would be so broken, because my own sister told me, she literally told me I can be standing on the side of the road on fire and she wouldn't even spit on me to try to put the fire out. Okay. So for me, when I have all these wonderful women all across the world that I call sister, and I don't use that word lightly at all. When I look and can pick up the phone and call someone and have conversations with someone and network with someone, and I'm learning, I have learned so much since I've met my sister Deborah. I've learned so much and have traveled all over the world. Now, if I would have been stuck where I was still broken and hurt because of my blood sister turned her back on me, then I wouldn't have opened the door to allow a sisterhood. And I always say, unfortunately, a lot of women that we've talked about, networking and your circle represents who you are. And it's a actual resemblance of the person and the desire that you have. That is so true, because I'm looking at my sisters here on this Zoom call. And it's amazing to me to see and be a part of women of this caliber. So it does speak volumes as far as who you do allow in your personal space, because it is your personal space. But in the same token, even if you don't allow a person in your personal space, we still don't have to treat that other person like an outsider. We can still show love, still be appreciative, still we can still learn from them. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're in my personal space. Okay. And I've learned that because yes, I've been hurt by, like I said, my mother and my sister. But when me and Deborah last parted, we cried. We were at the airport and did not want to let each other go. That's true sisterhood. And we don't have the same bloodline. So it's really important that yes, we as women put aside our differences and learn to appreciate our differences, because that's what makes us who we are. If we all have the same thing, how are we gonna network and do something together? I think like you. I see the same thing you see, so I don't need your help. But you're different from me. Yeah, you're different. So
that's why I said we are like recipes to make. When you want to make a cake, you need sugar, you need butter, you need salt, you need baking powder. So baking powder cannot represent sugar. It's not possible.
Yeah, it's gonna be
tastes like strawberry.
No. So I need you to be different. You know, you have some girls, you've heard of women and girls who like ugly people, their version of what ugly is around them because it makes them look better. Well, then you need to take care, look inside yourself, because guess what? That means the inside of you is horrible. And you'll hear people say, she's a beautiful person on the outside, but she's an ugly person on the inside. I want to be beautiful on the inside and outside. Because I've been that person on the outside that caught eyes, but when my mouth opened, they was like, ooh, that she's pretty on the outside, but she got some work to do on the inside. And I've learned from that. So I just want to say, for me, sisterhood it's a totally different meaning for me. So if I call you my sister, listen, when you have to get out of a game, you got to fight. We have to fight to let you have my sisterhood. Because I just truly, I've lost my sister, my blood sister. So to gain sisterhood to me is really important.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I can't wait to see you all next year, that we all stay in one place, 2021 in the conference. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. Thank you so much. Do you have something to share, or should we end it for today?
Oh my.
Hello?
That's what happens when we're all over the globe.
Sorry? You said something?
Thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure on the panel with all of you all. And God bless, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year's. And may your 2021 be very prosperous, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for
Same to you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy and honored.
It's from your inside. Be able to identify your uniqueness, your authenticity, and know that you are valuable. Because if you realize that you are valued, then there'll be no reason to be against another sister. We have confidence, because confidence is beauty.
Wow, I love that.
Thank you so much, Sister Deborah, for allowing us to be on today. Thank you, ladies, for joining the platform with me. I just think we have to say what my friends say. I want for my sister what I want for myself.